Okay, so now that you have your whole style guide set up with the types of fonts that you want for your heading, for your paragraph, you're going to go over to your template, or in this case your duplicate, and you're going to click on this little Site Styles, this little paintbrush. And this is where you're going to access all the styles for your particular website. Okay, so you can see you have themes, fonts, colors, buttons, forms, and miscellaneous. Let's start with the colors because that's the most obvious. So you can see I clicked here, colors, this little arrow. You're going to go to Edit Palette. This allows you to put your own colors, your own hex codes into the actual website. The order that you use is actually quite important because this one correlates to the buttons. So you'll see if I change this down here, my button color changes. So it might be tempting to just put it in order of dark, light, but in order to create a consistent website, a website that actually looks nice, you want to have the actual colors that you picked go where you want them to go. So let's change that. We wanted this color. So you're going to take your hex code, copy, and you're going to paste it there. See, if it's not already set to hex, it might be RGB. You're going to just go to the drop down, click your hex, and put it there. So now you can see that's our new color. So this is what I meant when I said as you paste your colors in, you're going to adjust it because it might look fantastic on your little color palette and everything. This looks amazing. Once you plug it into your actual website, not so much. It might not be exactly what you want out of it. So perhaps you'd want it darker, so you can play around with that. So let's decide, I don't like the way the purple looks. Let's make it a bit brighter. Let's do that. There we go. Okay, let's just stick with that. Now you're going to grab your hex code. Once you've decided on the color that you like, grab your hex code, bring it back here. You can actually make a duplicate if you don't want to lose that color. Paste your hex code there, then go into your color, go into your color picker and update the hex code. So now your color has changed. So you can really play around with the types of colors that you use and the look and feel that comes out of that. Alright, so just to show you how a different set of colors will work on this website, I've created a color palette here based off of this image that I got off Pinterest, exactly as I showed you before. Here we go. So I took a screenshot and I color picked it and I matched it up. I plugged these exact colors into our template and this is what we get. So here we go, here's our colors. So this is what I was talking about when I said that you're going to have to adjust the colors. Even though this color palette is gorgeous, this orange is way too deep for a background. The colors don't really pop. This is too, so you can just play around with the different colors. So I'm going to do that in a second and I will show you how it comes out and what I did. Okay, so I've made the adjustments and what I basically did is the background color, I created a gray color. Now, when you have warm color palettes or warm color tones, if you want something that's opposite or contrasting so that these pop a bit more, it's great to look at your color wheel. So if you have a warm color, you can go cooler. So now you can see that the orange really pops and stands out much better as opposed to when we had a warmer background. I switched these two colors around because this was the text color, so this was over there. And now you can see the text stands out much better against this backdrop as well. We haven't changed the pictures out, so it still looks a bit strange. These are icons, the colors are set, so you can delete those and add your own icons if you want to, if you find you have icons like that. And again, we can change the colors of whatever text doesn't quite work. So this would look great with that gray. If you want to add an actual blue in here, you can do that, but I just wanted to show you what it would look like with a totally different color palette. I'm going to change the images out so that it fits this color palette, and then we can see what this looks like. Okay, so now I've gone back into Canva and I've updated my color palette to match the colors that I decided on in my website. Then I went onto Unsplash and I searched for interior design images. I originally went with orange, and I got all of these really bright colors. But then I wanted a few neutral colors, so dark orange is brown, so I decided to plug in brown and blue interiors, and I've got some nice, more balanced images. So that's a little trick you can use when you're looking for images. If you can, well, firstly, you can plug in both of your colors, so the orange matched with the blue, the slight blue of the background that we added. So that creates a nice contrast color. And if a color is too bright in your images, you just type in the darker version of that color, and you'll get a nice range of pictures that you can choose from. So these were the pictures that I ended up choosing. Now, these pictures were really great, but they didn't really match the theme of the website. They didn't match what, the style that I was going for. So that's another thing you're going to look at when you're choosing your pictures. Like, does it match the style? Does it match the colors? So I'm going to delete these and delete these from my folder as well. Now I'm going to add all of these pictures into our website, and I will show you what it looks like in a second. Okay, so I've gone ahead and switched out all of the images on our website, on our template. And you can see this looks really nice. I picked the picture that had a lot of space in the background so that my text would pop very well. Then when I chose these pictures, I chose ones that had a similar color palette so that they looked more cohesive across this section of the website. I also just darkened the text because it just looked a little bit too light. It was a bit strange. But you can see how I've added the newer pictures. I changed the icon. You can just Google icons, find a PNG icon with a clear background and add it onto there just as a picture. And here we go. I've also lightened this up just to make it a bit easier to read. It was a bit too heavy. I also changed this banner color. So with a template, you really need to just adjust things here and there just to tweak it, just to make it your own. So you allow the layout to do its thing, and your customization comes in with the colors, the pictures, and having a consistent color palette really brings it all together. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put in all of our pictures into our website template, and you can see how cohesive it looks. Here is our before with the pink and the blue, the pink color scheme, a little bit of yellow, and here is our orange with a little bit of grayish blue and brown. So you can see that it still looks pretty cohesive, it still looks very professional, and all we did was stick to a color palette and match our pictures to that. We adjusted a few things here and there, and that was all the changes that we needed to make this color palette work. But that's how easy it is to make any template work for you specifically and create it for your website. It's as simple as just staying consistent with the color scheme.